ये राउंड टेबल है तो आमतौर से अजय जी और शरद जी नेपथ्य से और अजय जी मंच से जितनी औपचारिकताएं करते हैं आज इस राउंड टेबल में कम होती दिख रही हैं, तो मेरे को बहुत खुशी हो रही है बातचीत शुरू करने में। डू यू फॉलो हिंदी? नो, सो I'll inflict my rambling English. Friends, this our coalition beyond Copenhagen now requires to be re-christianed, but we'll do it after Durban because our states have made lot of mess, particularly the Indian state. The kind of rich tradition it has in the social movements, which could have been used in documenting the experience and impact of ecological crisis, the climate change on the ground in all the 50 plus, about 54, in a broad classification, 54 ecological zones in the country, and then for example, when we went to Madhya Pradesh, the administrative boundaries and the political boundaries of constituencies, whether of assembly or of national parliament, they have nothing to do with the ecological zones. In Madhya Pradesh meeting, when we were discussing the state action plan, they were mentioning 11 ecological zones, or somebody mentioned 13. So there is very minimalistic awareness among the actors who are planning these actions to respond to the climate crisis. And in political circles, which have to take the eventual call and change the state policies, there's almost no knowledge among the representatives or the decision makers, except the bureaucracy who is supposed to take some decisions. And in our all governments, social movements from India or from South Asia or on the planetary scale, they do not find any voices. But what is the impact on health? CDC is probably the name of the organization, which US arm of the US state. And some people say it's not just US state, it's also linked with the biological warfare and Pentagon also. It supplies its own information to them. So they have greater access, and in most of the cases, their desk is in all our ministries, including the environment ministry. So the way in Copenhagen our government behaved, it was more at the behest of the upper segments of the community of nations in the globe, rather than the imminent submerging 1/3 of the coastal area of Bangladesh or Maldives, or melting of the glaciers, where Nepal has its own limitations. It can't even, at least the governing elite can't speak up to Indian or the Chinese political elite. It has to toe the line which our elite on both sides, southern watershed and the northern watershed, will evolve. So the first point I want to make is that there is a kind of deep political vacuum of both kinds, of not understanding the issues in a political fashion, and the political class not requiring to understand, because the source of legitimacy and power in China is not a popular desire or a popular victimhood. The experience of victimhood by the ordinary Chinese peasants or fisher folk is not the reason how Chinese government changes, or the change in power in different factions in the Chinese Communist Party take place. Similarly, in India, Congress Party's main source of legitimacy and power is the anxiety of all the minorities to have some semblance of a secular state, and also which is shared across classes from the most oppressed and the marginalized to the top elite, the false consciousness of being able to chase American consumer paradise as a desirable and as a feasible proposition. So that's the so Congress Party since 1991 in a most inauthentic manner, in selling out the half-truths, is promising things which are not feasible. Or if we deliver those things to our people, then the whole planet is geo-paradise. So that's the second crucial political context we have to keep in mind, that there is a consensus among the global elite which is shared by the big populations in India and China, and being executed by the political elite, the pursuance of destructive development model, which in positive terms, if the most possible positive description is American consumer paradise or just consumer paradise. If some people get invoked with their negative feelings with the name US, then we can forget that, because there it's no longer just US consumer paradise, since there is global consensus, since there is sizable middle class which is seceding from our respective milieus without thinking what is happening to peasants, what is happening to landless peasants, what is happening to fisher folk. On all those issues, that segment of our elite and middle class is not bothered. And the Congress, I said, this source of their power is this promise which they are able to dangle, and as long as there is no counter vision, they will continue to be a critical actor whether they are in power or not. Similarly, BJP, because of lack of cultural movement, invokes some kinds of anxieties. So it helps Congress that all minorities or a good section of marginalized communities remains alienated to them and remains, so BJP primary core support comes from Hindu, mobilizing the Hindu anxieties. If it is not in good quantities, then Narendra Modis are there to contribute to that Hindu anxiety so that it's easy. So rather than discussing the difficult path, so in that BJP, there is a small fringe section which organizes itself in various banners called the indigenous Swadeshi, roughly translated Swadeshi, Swavlamban, all those ideals, and they are absolutely marginal. I still recall when Atal Bihari Ji was Prime Minister, the RSS magazine on Swadeshi caricatured and criticized Atal Bihari Vajpayee, and next day the executive editor Umendra Dutt was thrown out and he went to Punjab, to his native village, and he's still working on those same issues. Agriculture Heritage Mission is the name of the, I'm roughly translating into English. So what the next point I am saying is that the main opposition party is also not depending on responding to ecological crisis or any other crisis for that matter, because it has a source of mobilizational possibilities without addressing this issue. So why I am saying all this is that whenever we have a self-clarificatory roundtables for this, we must realize the grimness of the situation and the challenging political situation and the idea of ecological sustainability, of which climate crisis is one subset, faces a political context, a cultural context, which requires almost as a precondition to be addressed. Unless we remain sensitive to the political context as a citizen, to the cultural context of identity fundamentalism. If you are, the way we have created a primacy for the identity issues in the Dalit discourse, and why I say we, the way we have been insensitive to the aspirations of the marginalized majorities, of Dalits, of OBCs, there is a reaction. So if Mayawati is in power, she does not have to do anything. Just being in power helps a poor Dalit in a village to acquire a sense of identity and dignity. Now, with this kind of discourse, it is very difficult to talk to a member of parliament from BSP, or for that matter Mulayam Singh, the two principal actors so far, before next election results we know, and they will say, no, you know, these are not the issues, you are idealist or you live in fool's paradise. So there is a kind of wall, very strong wall in the political discourse, be it identity aspirations of Dalits and OBCs and other peasants represented by various regional parties, or the two principal parties. So whatever we discuss has to penetrate this political context. I have sort of made a kind of critical observation on the political context, but I have no positive suggestions to make in this short span. It requires many more roundtables just to discuss the political context, that how to weave in the aspirations of democracy and ecological sustainability. For that, if Ajay takes the initiative, I'll be his volunteer to take up this task. The other important point I want to make is, this I take from our main resource person in this coalition, Soumya Datta. Day before he made this point, day before it was, in one of his presentations, that many of those who romanticize the indigenous knowledge, they don't realize the climate crisis is a new challenge as it comes now. So the indigenous knowledge systems, the non-modern, pre-modern knowledge systems may not have the answers, or may not be adequate to meet the crisis, to meet the challenge. Now this is a very, very important point, and what I draw from this general conceptual point is that there needs to be a democratization in the knowledge sector also. Unless the knowledge systems are democratized, you know, the other day I was in Punjab, 28th and 29th, on agriculture crisis. People from RSS to Maoist apologists, all shades were there. And the initiative was taken by same gentleman, Umendra Dutt, who has ex-RSS background, and in organizations which are of fascistic tendencies and have no membership, there is no X in my understanding. But that's a not relevant point. The point I am trying to make is that on the margins of all ideologies, there are people who are reflecting on these issues. And in Punjab, I was pleasantly shocked. I did not utter a word or a sentence in that 2 days. I just kept quiet, and I found I had nothing to add, because on knowledge systems, how people's perceptions, people's experiences are not being taken note by the authorities, how the pesticides are leading to cancer, and the certain trains are called being a cancer train, what kind of land degradation has taken place, waterlogging, salination, on every damn thing, how the rivers are dying, what kind of biodiversity we made, what kind of independence and sovereignty in seed production. Think of any issue which relates to either crisis, ecological crisis, not just the climate crisis, or sustainability. They had experience, they had insights, and some of the scientists were also speaking the language which the social movements speak. So non-establishment scientific people are also there. So what I initially portrayed as a very grim situation, now I am trying to make the opposite point, that there is critical search among all the ideological streams, among all the people from ground to top, and if this knowledge, enabling knowledge generation activity through social movement and interface of politicians, social scientists, natural scientists, climatologists, and NGOs and political party people, then if we have this kind of exercise in an open-ended fashion and inclusive fashion, and develop a collective ability to listen and reflect even on difficult dilemmas of development, difficult dilemmas of parliamentary democracy, then probably we will contribute to the positive thinking on this planet going on, how to respond to climate crisis, because this UN framework is almost, I'm little bit exaggerating, but I get a feeling, is it for us, people on the planet, life on the planet, or these negotiations are for corporations, how to find their space, how to sustain their economic margins of economic profitability. Is it for them or for us? That's my, I'm little bit exaggerating, but I would venture to say that this is the, at least this is the, if this is not the only motivation, this is the dominant motivation in all the international conferences after Copenhagen, which have been taking place. And the roundtables of this kind have a bounden duty, a kind of ethical duty to ourselves, that we deconstruct that part of the international negotiations and we bring in the perspective of the marginalized majority who would be the victim, bring in the idea of fair play and justice in this. And now I stop because some very profound social movement and agriculture scientist is there. So I welcome Sumanji and request her to come in the mainstream. Margins पे नहीं जाएंगे आप, नहीं आप आ जाए, मैंने बंद कर दिया बोलना. Thank you very much. I stop. Oh, Sharad ji is saying that I welcomed only Dr. Suman Sir. No, in the very beginning I said that unlike the previous events, this is a round table in which Ajay ji has discarded the formal rituals of formality. So I am not welcoming any of you because you are all partners in coalition. So how can one person can welcome the other? So we are all welcoming each other. We are bound by this challenge which we all face together with whole lot of the entire life on planet, just not Homo sapiens. So I didn't feel like welcoming specifically. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijay-ji. Vijay-ji has very comprehensively put the larger political context and political vacuum in the context of ecological justice. I would limit myself to basically laying down I'll rather attempt to lay down say sort of context for this round table. I am aware of the fact that here many participants are from Hindi-speaking states, and I would take the liberty to speak in Hindi as well as in English so that it's convenient for everybody. तो सब लोगों को एक बार नमस्कार. इस राउंड टेबल में हम लोग बेसिकली स्टेट रिस्पॉन्स ऑफ इंडिया ऑन क्लाइमेट क्राइसिस ये डिस्कस करने वाले हैं, और इसमें दो चीज़ों पे we will lay special emphasis on India's position in international negotiations and also domestic actions, and how these two actions are linked and why it is critical to take action now. We have moved far ahead, especially talking about the international negotiations. We have moved far ahead of the position when the Government of India delegation used to flash a light bulb in COP. And the principled position of Government of India was initially based on the principle of CBDR and per capita emissions. But there has been a significant and dramatic shift starting from 2008 when National Action Plan on Climate Change was announced. That was quite significant in the sense that it signaled that now India also owns some responsibility to take some domestic actions as fourth largest economy, and that was hailed globally in very flowery terms, I would say. Later on, we also moved towards somewhat to India taking not exactly legally binding commitments, but also voluntary commitments. And India has played a significantly critical role in bringing BASIC together, and also sort of trying to break the bottleneck in the negotiations by bringing China and US together. That has been appreciated largely by the global community and global community. But as far as domestic action is concerned, हम लोग देख रहे हैं कि जो इंटरनेशनल अरीना में इंडिया इज बीइंग हेल्ड एज इमर्जिंग लीडरशिप इन क्लाइमेट चेंज, वो यहाँ पे डोमेस्टिक एक्शंस में ट्रांसलेट नहीं हो रहा है और ज़मीन पे नहीं दिख रहा है. इंडियाज एक्शन ऑन climate crisis or climate change has been mainly led by National Action Plan on Climate Change and State Action Plan on Climate Change, beginning with 2008 when National Action Plan on Climate Change was declared. The civil society reaction was largely negative, and National Action Plan was perceived to be a document of listless ideas without much direction and without evaluation of, say, economic feasibility of going into these mission plans and details. Government ने ये भी declare किया था कि जल्द ही वो उसके mission documents सारे publicly available कराएंगे और तैयार कराएंगे. And there would be also state action plan from different states to support National Action Plan on Climate Change. अब उस नेशनल एक्शन प्लान के डिक्लेरेशन को 3.5 साल से शायद ज़्यादा हो गए हैं, बट रिपोर्टेडली मेनी ऑफ द मिशन प्लान्स आर स्टिल अवेटिंग कैबिनेट अप्रूवल. नेशनल एक्शन प्लान में शुरू में हम लोग कहें तो इट वाज बेसिकली बेस्ड ऑन एग्जिस्टिंग पॉलिसीज एंड देयर वाज नथिंग much new except for solar mission on solar energy and the national mission on energy efficiency. नेशनल मिशन ऑन सोलर एनर्जी में ये बात नहीं थी कि इंडिया ने कमिट किया कि हम लोग 2022 तक 20 गीगावाट ऑफ सोलर एनर्जी प्रोड्यूस करेंगे, जो कि इंडिया की अभी जो उस समय जो पोजीशन थी उससे 1000 फोल्ड ज़्यादा थी. And National Mission of Enhanced Energy Efficiency was also a significant shift in the approach, in terms that it laid down a market-based mechanism and framework for trade in energy savings certificates in energy-intensive sectors. उसके अलावा जो हम लोगों ने देखा मिशन ऑन एग्रीकल्चर, मिशन ऑन वाटर, ग्रीन इंडिया मिशन, मिशन ऑन हिमालयन इकोसिस्टम, इन सब सारी चीज़ों में कोई बहुत नई बात लोगों को नहीं लगी थी. उसके 3 साल के बाद अभी भी हम लोग देखते हैं कि बहुत सारे मिशन प्लान्स फाइनलाइज नहीं हुए हैं. और नेशनल एक्शन प्लान के बारे में लोगों की सबसे बड़ी शिकायत ये थी कि दैट वाज डिक्लेयर्ड इन अ कंप्लीटली टॉप डाउन अप्रोच एंड देयर वाज नो पब्लिक कंसल्टेशन व्हाटसोएवर ऑन इन द डेवलपमेंट ऑफ नेशनल एक्शन प्लान. उस समय सरकार की तरफ से there was an assurance that when they fine-tune these mission plans and develop mission plans and state action plans, this ये जो शिकायत थी सिविल सोसाइटी ऑर्गेनाइजेशंस की और दूसरे क्वार्टर से, उसको रिमूव कर दिया जाएगा, and there will be proper public consultation in developing mission plans and also state action plans. Now, as far as the state action plans are concerned, more than 15-16 states have already submitted their draft action plans. And except for few, we have been trying to engage with state action plan in different states, and except for few, we have not come across people saying that they have been consulted in development of state action plan on climate change. प्रोसेस के अलावा कंटेंट पे बहुत सारे ऑब्जेक्शंस रहे हैं लोगों के, एंड स्टेट एक्शन प्लान ऑल्सो as as National Action Plan has been alleged to be completely a consultant-led process. Given this backdrop, and also that there will be a big climate change conference in November, December in Durban, which is called 17th COP. We thought that it will be very appropriate to have a sort of review of state response of India in terms of its domestic action and also position in international negotiation. इन सब दोनों चीज़ों पे हम लोग और आगे डिटेल में चर्चा करेंगे. Reportedly, there was also a midterm review of National Action Plan on Climate Change. And I tried very hard to find some information on what transpired in that midterm review. But except for cryptic lines in few newspapers, not so well known, I could not find much information on what has happened in the midterm review in the National Action Plan. So the point of, see, the most important agony of the civil society emerges from the point that there has been a total lack of transparency in development of these National Action Plans, state action plans, and it's been a completely non-participatory process. So with these words, I would invite Soumya ji to guide us through the program design and also on larger objective and expected outcomes of this roundtable.
Thank you. I think we should start with a round of self-introduction. It's more a brief introduction, really better. And then probably I can just briefly give why it was thought it is important, not only the international negotiation, but what happens in our country and our states. But let's start with a brief introduction. So I am Shoma Datta. I am with a people science movement called Bharat Jan Vigyan Jatra for the last 19 years. And also part of the Beyond Copernican Coalition and the other coalitions like this. Thank you.
I'm Nagaraj and I'm with an organization called Delhi Platform.
My name is Ravnil Bhamdel. I'm from the Women's Embassy.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Preeti Daruka from PUSER.
Good morning, Anil Singh from Sansad.
राजेंद्र सेन, सारथी संस्था, जोधपुर, राजस्थान. मैं निर्मल कांडपाल, उत्तराखंड वन पंचायत संघर्ष मोर्चा, भवानी नैनीताल.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम तरुण जोशी और मैं उत्तराखंड से हूँ, वन पंचायत संघर्ष मोर्चा से.
Hello, I am Ranjan Borua. I am with North East Youth Foundation based in Guwahati.
मेरा नाम सुमन सहाय है, जीन कैंपेन नामक संस्था के साथ काम करती हूँ.
Good morning, my name is Anna Glover. I'm interning with PUB.
सभी लोगों को मेरा नमस्कार प्रणाम. मैं उड़ीसा से अजीत हूँ और पानी के आंदोलन में रहा हूँ पश्चिम के साथ.
I'm Sri Padre. I'm a farmer and journalist from Kerala, Karnataka. I specialize in water journalism. We are bringing a unique farm magazine in Kannada since the last 23 years.
Good morning, everybody. Sabhi ko namaste. This is Mosmi. I am the unit head for climate justice in Sikoidicon, Jaipur, also associated with Beyond Copenhagen Collective. Welcome.
Good morning, everyone. I am Jyotishman. I am the deputy of this event.
मैं डॉक्टर बालिनी शुक्ला, छतरपुर मध्य प्रदेश से हूँ और हम लोग वहाँ रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग और बायोगैस एनर्जी पे काम कर रहे हैं.
My name is Raju Patel, छतरपुर से.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम प्रकाश झा. मैं एनवायरमेंटल प्रोफेशनल हूँ और आजकल भारत जन विज्ञान जनता के साथ काम.
Hello, good morning. My name is Joy Sen. I'm with an organization called CASIN. Our main relation with the issue of climate change is we try to look at the long-term consequences, in particular in terms of the collapse of the state.
नमस्कार, मेरा नाम आलोक है और मैं पीपल सेक्शन फॉर नेशनल इंटीग्रेशन फैजाबाद से.
नमस्कार, मैं प्रतीक पांडे रायपुर छत्तीसगढ़ से हूँ और मेनली गवर्नेंस इशू पे काम.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम आलोक व्यास है और मैं सिकोडिकॉन के साथ काम कर रहा हूँ.
नमस्ते, मोहन जोशी, सेवा भारती, इंदौर, मध्य प्रदेश.
शरद जोशी, सिकोडी.
विजय प्रताप, पार्ट ऑफ दिस कलेक्टिव.
Devinder Kaur, urban and regional planner, right now a consultant.
I'm Nambi from the MS Swaminathan Research Foundation.
मेरा नाम अजय झा है, मैं पेरिस से हूँ. I would request everybody to please use mic because it's being recorded.
Yeah, my name is Nobu Kishore. I'm from Manipur, and I basically work on climate change in terms of relationship of climate change and human rights and violent conflict.
Good morning, my name is Danish Raza. I'm a journalist. I work with a magazine called Governance Now.
Good morning, my name is Saurabh Ghosh. I work with the Hunger Project.
Hello everyone, I'm Sharmi Sultana. I'm joined from PLC.
Hi, my name is Rashmi and I'm working with Hunger Trust.
नमस्ते, मेरा नाम प्रभात है, मैं फैमिली के साथ हूँ.
ये इम्पोर्टेंट है क्योंकि बीच बीच में मेरे लगता है जो अजय जो रिमाइंड करवा दिया था थोड़ा हिंदी में हिंदी अंग्रेजी मिला के बोलने से शायद हम लोग जो डिस्कोर्स हमारा जो डिस्कशन चलेगा only problem is 2-3 of you will be missing part of the section which will be in Hindi. I think all others understand. ये एक अजय का रिक्वेस्ट ये भी था कि बियॉन्ड कोपेनहेगन कोalition के बारे में थोड़ा सा 1-2 मिनट में इसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया जाए. ये एक करीब 42 संगठन, उसमें एनजीओ है, पीपल्स मूवमेंट है, छोटा ग्रुप है. ये इकट्ठा आया था कोपेनहेगन कॉन्फ्रेंस का करीब 7-8 महीना पहले और उद्देश्य यही था कि बहुत सारे ग्रुप देश भर में, हमारे देश में, we are working, many groups, we are working in many different manner, probably trying to engage with issues which are very central to the climate change crisis, and still there are visibility in terms of international presence often, because if we have seen Copenhagen, there are large number of people from India, but there are hardly any voice of India in that sense, because in which I differ a little bit from Ajay what he said, because in Copenhagen we saw very clearly all the developing countries, mostly the least developed countries, the African Union and the island states, they were very, very critical of India and India's role, which has started from before Copenhagen. So हमारा ये एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग था कि हम बहुत सारे लोग इसमें काम कर रहा है अलग अलग दिशा से, अलग अलग पर्सपेक्टिव से, बट लेट्स ट्राई टू बिल्ड अप कलेक्टिव्स, क्योंकि एक अंडरस्टैंडिंग जो भैया जी शायद इंडिकेशन किया है पर उसमें इतना एक्सप्लिसिट नहीं है कि इस प्रॉब्लम का एक, नॉट एवरीथिंग, एक जड़ है. One root of this is in fragmentation and not being able to form larger and larger collective to address the problem. Forget about the solution, that will come later. तो वो एक बड़ा उद्देश्य था, लेकिन उसमें बहुत ज़्यादा सक्सेसफुल हमने हुए हैं, अभी तक इतना नहीं है, because this was part of an exercise which started earlier. Part means not that both are same, but some people are involved in both. In India, there was an earlier exercise which also hadn't been successful too much, of trying to bring a lot of groups who are working on the climate justice issues. It's not, and I'd like to mention here very clearly that we try to avoid saying just climate change. Either we say climate change crisis and the climate justice. इसका पीछे कारण है, there's a reason behind that, because for people like us who live in cities and more or less comfortable living, for them the present climate change is a change. It's not a crisis. There are some changes here and there observable, and it's also fashionable to be involved in that. For a lot of communities at the bottom of the pyramid that we have interacted with, it's not that kind of thing. It's a crisis of their living and livelihood. So जब हम बात करते हैं उन लोगों से और उन लोगों के साथ जुड़ने का, तब हमें लगा तो climate change crisis और climate crisis is a better definition, और that brings up the urgency of the situation. And इसमें, as everybody knows, इसमें जुड़ा हुआ है justice का issue, क्योंकि इसका root cause कहीं और किसी society का part में है, and the impacted communities are not that part of society. They are not the cause of the problem. So इसमें एक justice issue जुड़ा हुआ है. उसके और भी पहलू है, लेकिन ये हमारा एक focus था. But beyond Copenhagen जो हम शुरू किए थे, उससे बहुत जगह मैंने इसमें हम लोग एडमिट करते हैं कि वो करीब 40 ग्रुप सारे ग्रुप इस इक्वली एक्टिव नहीं है, कुछ ग्रुप एक्टिव है, कुछ ग्रुप जैसे स्लीपिंग पार्टनर्स होते हैं तो ऐसे ही है। बट क्या हम इससे आगे बढ़ सकते हैं? ये राउंड टेबल बाय इजडम के एक्सरसाइज का उद्देश्य, वन ऑफ द ऑब्जेक्टिव्स ऑफ दिस काइंड ऑफ एक्सरसाइज इज आल्सो दैट कैन वी मेक द रियल कोalitions larger, not just a formal coalition. So that was the history of Beyond Copenhagen coalition or collective, and what is the objective of this. But in this, in the design of the round table, we don't have too rigid a structure or design, let's admit that. We thought of putting it in different sessions to do different work. लेकिन जो हमें बाद में लोगों से बात करने से बाद भी मालूम चला, और क्योंकि अवेलेबिलिटी ऑफ पीपल इज ऑल्सो इम्पोर्टेंट, जो इसको डिस्कशन को कहीं कहीं सेगमेंट में लीड करे, जो इसमें ज़्यादा इन्वॉल्व है। एक तो बहुत सारे इसमें जो इश्यूज है, अलग अलग सेक्शंस है, इंटर रिलेटेड है, एक दूसरे से बहुत गहरी ताल्लुक है। और दूसरा जो हमें लगा, जो थोड़ा सा बात सामने आया, इंटरनेशनल नेगोशिएशन जो कॉन्फ्रेंस ऑफ पार्टीज होता है कॉप, और उसके इन बिटवीन इंटरसेशन होता है, उसमें जो चलते हैं उससे भी बहुत ज़्यादा, दैट इज इम्पोर्टेंट. In fact, for us, this is important to get get to know what is happening, and probably scuttle what is happening and what can happen. But equally or more important is हमारे देश में क्या हो रहा है. हमारे देश as a state, as भारत का सरकार, भारत का राज्य का सरकार, और मैं साथ में एक जोड़ना चाहता हूँ, जयसेन ये यहाँ एक मुद्दा बहुत इम्पोर्टेंट पॉइंट आउट किए थे कि हम लोग इसमें बोले हैं स्टेट रेस्पॉन्स, द क्लाइमेट क्राइसिस एंड स्टेट रेस्पॉन्स. लेकिन इसको रेस्पॉन्ड करने में सिर्फ स्टेट ही नहीं है, इसमें कॉर्पोरेट सेक्टर काफ़ी बड़ा स्केल में रेस्पॉन्ड कर रहा है, इसमें फाइनेंशियल सेक्टर्स काफ़ी बड़ा स्केल में रेस्पॉन्ड कर रहा है, और काफ़ी एक्टिव प्लेयर्स है. इनफैक्ट इफ यू लुक एट मेनी ऑफ द नेगोशिएशंस, it seems that the little space that so-called civil society had is getting shrunk, because many of the corporate interests have also floated a lot of these so-called societies, which are in general term called bingos, business and industrial NGOs, but they are presenting themselves as are not we civil society, we are also civil and we are part of the society. So they are trying to occupy whatever little space in international and national. And as we have seen, and will see afterwards when we discuss the state action plans, in our sub-national level, they are also occupying a very large space. तो हमारा अंडरस्टैंडिंग ये था, जो भारत में जो चल रहा है उसके साथ बहुत ज़्यादा ग्रुप्स सीरियसली हम उसके साथ जुड़े नहीं हैं. जैसे जब नेशनल एक्शन प्लान बना था जून 2008 में, तब किसी को बहुत ज़्यादा पता भी नहीं था कि कुछ बनने वाला है. 14 लोगों का 16 लोगों का ग्रुप मिलके 16 पीपल आए थे, और एक दिन जून 30 खोल दिया, ये है नेशनल प्लान. तो ऑलमोस्ट उस ढंग से ही, जैसे विजय जी ने मैं बोला, उस ढंग से बाकी स्टेट का प्लान भी चल रहा था, मिशन भी उस ढंग के थोड़ा बहुत कहीं कहीं डिस्कशन हुआ है. तो एक समझ ये था कि हमें जो लोग ग्रुप, ज़्यादातर लोगों से ग्रुप्स जो कलेक्टिव्स है, जो इसमें एंगेज कुछ ढंग से कर रहा है. हम लोगों ने पिछले 2 साल से काफ़ी कोशिश किया करके, थोड़ा बहुत हमारे लिए दरवाजा कहीं कहीं खुला है, कहीं बहुत जगह में खुला भी नहीं है. स्टेट्स फ्लैटली बोला है दिस इज आवर डॉक्यूमेंट, व्हाई शुड वी शेयर विद इट. एंड क्यों इसके साथ जुड़ना जरूरी है हमें लगा, one of the reasons is these are all the climate action plans that whether it's Indian government or the states are bringing up are overarching plans. It doesn't matter that many of the existing plans, existing schemes have been integrated into it, but if you look into the action plans, water is there, all aspects of water, agriculture is there, forests are there, urban planning is there, then energy is there, health is there, everything. And lot of things are, as has been mentioned, lot of things are very clearly designed for corporate entry into many areas where they are not so strongly present. तो इससे लगा, और पिछले 1.5 साल 2 साल का एफर्ट में हमारा पास कितना करीब 6-7 स्टेट का जो एक्शन प्लान, उसमें हम लोग थोड़ी बहुत इंटरवेन करने में सक्षम हुआ है. ऐसे नहीं है हर जगह में बदल चुका है प्लान. थोड़ा बहुत हम लोगों ने हल्ला मचाया. हम लोगों ने मतलब ये सिर्फ बियॉन्ड कोपेनहेगन कोalition नहीं, हमारे साथ बाकी लोग भी बैठे हैं जो पूरा देश भर में जो जिनके साथ काम हुआ है, ट्राइंग टू एनलार्ज द कोalition. तो थोड़ा बहुत कहीं कहीं बदलाव हो रहा है,
लेकिन ज़्यादातर in most places there is hardly any change because the push needs to be stronger. तो एक उद्देश्य इसका ये था, ये जो आज का राउंड टेबल बा इसके फॉलो अप बा इसका प्रिसीडिंग जो भी एक्सरसाइज हुआ है इंक्लूडिंग विद द मीडिया, ये लोग इसमें थोड़ा सा पहला बात ये स्टेट और कॉरपोरेट्स और जो बाकी उनके साथ जुड़ा हुआ जो मैकेनिज्म है, जो सिस्टम हम बोलते हैं, तो उसके काफी डिजाइन्स है, जो डिजाइन्स अभी काफी हद तक बन चुका है. दिस क्वाइट मैच्योर नाउ इन देयर डिजाइन्स. We are not engaging with enough strength, with enough critic, and with enough opposition with this process. When this comes into the ground, when we see something is being implemented, then local groups start opposing, and that opposition will always have to be there. There is no alternative to opposition on the ground, resistance on the ground. But can we not engage at this stage when the plans are getting almost ready? And start our critique, opposition and intervention and say we don't accept this, this has to be changed at this stage when the plans are getting ready. And the last point I want to mention, this is we call it a parliamentary democracy, and I want to bring this point also. The politics is not played only at the level of political parties. The kind of politics that we want to see or we want to get involved in is where people start engaging people who are impacted and people who are part of the impacting factor, like urban communities, like in Delhi, because Delhi is one of the major contributor to this within India, like Chandigarh or Mumbai or Hyderabad or Pune or Bangalore. So similarly, people who are part of this impacting factor and the much larger segment who are getting impacted, we should all start dialogues or multi-logs, and the kind of politics will emerge from that. I think that will be much better than the this once in 5 years or one in some years kind of. Only then the issues come up. Otherwise, it is not coming. And the last point I want to mention is that out of this engagement, we probably, as I'm repeating this, we don't want to focus only on the international negotiations, but many things, because we have not engaged, many things are being translated on the ground already. It's not that, and that is a misconception, that's a purposeful myth that is being spread, that if you go to any seminar or conference on climate change, people will still say, and they still say, we have attended many of these, the academics and the government people, this will happen, glaciers will melt, rivers will dry up, without knowing or without maybe even knowing but ignoring or hiding the fact that a lot of these things are happening. So it's not early, I think it's a little also already late, and we'll also be very grateful if all of us try to expand this, as I said, expand this collective and also have concrete not only suggestion but action plans on our behalf. Like in some of the states we have been engaged, we have been trying to do, whether people can bring up an action plan, and this is not today, this has started I think 2009 when we engaged with different movement collectives in Himachal, in other places, that can people and can people's movements collectively engage with these issues, bring up their own visions and own plans, what needs to be done to tackle this. So these are the basic purposes. So that is why we have divided these 2-day sessions, 2-day roundtable into different sessions. That one is what actual impacts are happening on the ground. People from different states, they will speak for 5-6 minutes each. I think that will give us an idea. And then the 2 areas, one is the state actions in terms of both the national and the state. Of course, we will take up the state action plans tomorrow. But also what India's role, and India means Indian state, because Indian people have very little role in the national negotiation as of now. And I don't know what is the mechanism that they will be having, because many CSOs really don't, and being part of those, we must admit that many CSOs or NGOs don't really represent the larger voice of people, which is also a bottleneck. How to overcome that, I don't know right away. So these this organization of sessions have been done, but we are open to flexibility in this. Because many of these are connected, and second is a practical difficulty that some of the people that we had, they had committed to come talk on different issues who are engaged in this and will be leading the discussion maybe. Their availability is a little uncertain, so someone will supposed to come today but will come tomorrow. So that much of flexibility will happen. Otherwise, this should be, and I hope all of us will very clearly come out with our understanding and our suggestions and our commitments to what to do about it, how to go about it. Then
the tea is ready, and I invite all of you to have tea with us, and we should come back in 10 minutes. Is that fair enough? 10-15 minutes to start the session on impacts and observe impacts in different agroclimatic zones and different sectors. We have people from, I think, more than 10 states, so it should be interesting to hear from them what kind of impacts they observe in their areas and different sectors. Thank you.
The girls are one minute. Let's go.